It's about Qayam and Lail. She wants to know, in Sujood, in Qayam, is there any prophetic sunnah to recite in the Sujood, Shaykh?
We said before, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, this is the best position that you are nearest to Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala, so increase making dua. Any dua, anything that you have in your mind to ask Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala. If you're asking me about the most preferable dua, of course I prefer the supplications which are derived from the Quran, such as رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Brothers and sisters, you may have heard this dua from me and this verse so many times, hundreds of times. And I would keep repeating this ayah and this dua because this is the most comprehensive dua. This is the most comprehensive dua. Many of the companions, such as Anas ibn Malik and others, whenever they ask them, make dua for us, they say, رَبَّنَا أَتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. So by the end of the sitting or the meeting, they ask him, he would repeat the same thing. They say, you don't know any other dua? He said, it didn't leave anything. I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give me every good in this life and give me every good in the hereafter. So our Lord give us a goodly reward in this life and a goodly reward in the hereafter. There are so many beautiful supplications in the Quran. It is best to memorize them so that you invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what He taught us, such as رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Surah Al-Furqan, this is a supplication that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised the servants of the most merciful, that amongst their virtuous and righteous deeds, that they invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا, our Lord, grant us, give us, مِن لَدُنْ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّتِنَا, from our spouses and our offspring, قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ, comfort for our eyes, peace for our minds. قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا, and make us leaders of the pious. In addition to list of supplications which are derived from the Quran and prophetic invocations as well. If you wish, once again, I recommend, there is a beautiful booklet that's called The Fortress of the Muslim, or The Citadel of the Believer. It's available in Arabic, in Urdu, in English, and I'm pretty sure in other languages as well. You can learn to memorize a few supplications and du'as from that.
I think the second question of hers is leading on from that. This dua that we're making in our sujood, does it have to be in the Arabic language?
We said in sujood, besides the dua which is prescribed, such as Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, etc., if you have a need and you don't know Arabic, you can invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your language. There is no restriction in that, and Allah knows best.
Okay, we had a question from Brother Abu Hafat from Qatar. About zakah. He's saying he's bought some land for his children. He wants to know, is this land zakatable every single year?
What determines whether the property is zakatable or not is the intention of the owner. Do you preserve it, or did you buy it with the intention of trade, to make a profit, to sell it whenever the prices are up? If this is your intention, this is business. Then this property is zakatable. And how do you calculate the zakah? Whenever the zakah is due every lunar year, you calculate the zakah according to today's market value. So if you bought it for 10,000 and today it is worth 20,000, so you pay the zakah on the 20,000. And you calculate it as 2.5%. 2.5% of the value of the property as of today, the day of paying the zakah. But if you bought the property so that when your kids grow up, they can build on it a building, we can divide it amongst themselves, it is not with the intention of trade or to sell it, then it's not zakatable, no matter how many years you keep it, and no matter how much the value increases.